Welcome, beautiful friends, to Why Do I Miss My Abusive Ex Part 1. I'm going to be breaking up this topic in probably 3 different parts simply because it's long. It's a topic that can be unpacked, detailed, explained in many different pieces, and it's kind of complex, to be honest. So, this is part 1. Now, in my reflections, my studies, my research, and I've known this for a long time, and I think a lot of you also know that the most dangerous time for a woman with her abusive partner, her abusive ex, is when she is trying to leave after she has left. So studies show that 75% of women are seriously harmed or worse while they are trying to leave or after they have left. That in itself is a very big topic to unpack, but I wanted to throw that out there because that's the seriousness of what we're dealing with when it comes to trauma bonds and those complex feelings and emotions that you experience after you've left. Okay, so my goal here is I don't want you to feel like if you're feeling, hey, I miss him, he treated me like dirt, worse than dirt, but I really miss him and I kind of want to go back. You're not a weirdo, it's not a weird feeling, you're not a horrible person. It is normal. Short disclaimer, everything I talk about, I am a professional social worker. I'm a survivor myself, but the things that I talk about for informational, educational purposes only. Please seek help from a professional in your area if you need more support. Alrighty, let's unpack this topic. So, if you've watched any of my other videos, my channel is still new, but if you have, I do write stuff down and reference because I have so much in my head from years of like professional experience, personal experience, and I'm not going to sit here and lecture you, but I just want to throw out those tidbits that are important because I remember when I had left, still in an abusive relationship, trying to heal. I literally wanted someone like, can you just outline the things? Can you tell me what I need to know or what I can reflect on to make the decisions that I need to make to move forward? So that's my goal. And I just want you to be aware and informed. Alrighty. So that statistic I did throw out, I read that on Women Against Crime 2004 edition. I believe they have their own website. That's where I read it from, Instagram, all those things. So you can check them out if you want. All right. So this is an interesting topic because I'm just thinking about myself here, and I will divulge. Unfortunately, I've been in 2 abusive relationships. The first one was marriage. The second one was boyfriend, and those questions of why do I miss this person when they hurt me so bad? Literally, those feelings and thoughts ruminate in your mind, in your spirit all the time because it just seems like it doesn't make sense, right? So when you leave, you could be putting that pressure on yourself of, okay, I shouldn't be missing him, but I do. I should feel relieved and happy because I'm away from such a horrible situation. Um, these feelings are complex, right? So keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that trauma bonds are powerful. When I think of the visual of a trauma bond, I think of like these massive waves. Now, it may not make sense right now. Maybe I'm bringing this visual in prematurely, but keep this in mind when we talk more about trauma bonds that I see it as a big wave. You know, when the tide comes in, the tide is powerful, right? So when the tide comes in, it slowly comes in, and then when it sucks itself back into the ocean, it's strong. It just whoosh, whooshes you back in. And so that's how I kind of see a trauma bond, where this big wave, this something that almost comes at you, like let's say the love bombing comes at you, and then you're like, okay, I have hope, I have happiness right now, and then things get a little bit crazy and it sucks you back in and you're like, what just happened? So that's my visual. If you're a visual person, stick with me. I hope that helps. So let's first just talk about the cycle of abuse because that's very important because it's hard to understand if you're not sure the cycle of abuse. Whether you're in it, whether you've left, it doesn't matter. These things, understanding will bring deeper healing, more knowledge, right? So in the cycle of abuse, let's outline it very quickly. One, we have the tension phase. So this is when, okay, there's been some calm, but you're sensing maybe he is irritable, a bit grumpy, maybe he is kind of just, sulking on the couch, whatever those signs are. You know your ex, you know your partner more than anyone else. Maybe he's getting snappy with you and the kids. There are those signs that says to you, your body knows, your mind knows, okay, something's going down. Maybe he's stressed at work. Maybe he's, I don't know, he's experiencing a whole lot of um, stress or something's upsetting. You're on the lookout. You're kind of on edge, on eggshells. Something's around the corner. And then number two, you have the incident. You have the abuse itself. So that could be a verbal abusive incident. That could be physical. It could be anything. You, like I said, you know the ways that this person unfortunately chooses to abuse you. Something's coming. So the incident happens. Let's say that he calls you all the names in the book and just gives it to you verbally, and you feel like, whoa, like absolute crap. That incident happens. Okay, this happens. And side note, sometimes for you, when we're going through that tension phase, there's anxiety for you. You're like, oh crap, when is it going to happen? Is he going to abuse me in an hour, 10 days from now? I don't know. But you're anxious because you know something's coming. And it's also not abnormal to feel like after the abuse has happened, relieved because you know you're not waiting for it around the corner. You know, I've dealt with it, it's happened. Okay, I can breathe. Even though it was painful and wrong, it's normal to feel that way too. Okay. Okay. And then after that, we have the makeup phase. So, this person will come up to you, maybe he'll apologize, give you gifts. That's often we see a lot of like love bombing stuff. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I was just stressed, or I'm stressed. Why did you say that to me? Or the kids were just too much, blah, 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 blah. All the excuses in the book. Okay, and then the makeup phase goes into the honeymoon phase. This is when things are great. I remember when I don't know, when your mind might say, I remember when we first met, we would hug all the time, hold hands, go for walks. Maybe that's what's happening right now. He's being really affectionate. He's giving you maybe gifts or just being a really nice guy. The honeymoon phase. Okay? So this is the cycle of abuse in a nutshell. The trouble with, now if we're going to slowly creep into trauma bonds here, the trouble with the honeymoon phase is that is when the most hope is created. That is when the attachment is grown or created, right? So think about it. When you miss somebody, you miss something. Why? It's because you have an attachment. If you learn nothing else from this video, this short little 2-second answer of why do I miss my abusive ex is because you have an attachment to this person, and there's been that hope and love and created those good things that were created in those good times. So really, if you wanted to have a short answer, that's like really the answer. Even though it's difficult, because like I said earlier, this is a complex situation. But in brief, you have an attachment to somebody, even if it's unhealthy, even if there was harmful things, moments of attachment. Okay. I remember during the honeymoon phase, and this is what really sucked me in. Remember that wave, and the tide is sucking you back in. Was when he was being really nice. He was big gift person. We did fun things. That really got to me. So I had thoughts like, oh yes, we're finally getting somewhere. We are those, I don't know, sessions of counseling, if he showed up, is really registering, and I'm getting somewhere. We're getting to a better place. It feels like when we first met, and right, those are in any relationship, those are the best times. It's the infatuation phase, honeymoon phase. All those things are happening again, maybe like when you first met, and you're happy, and you should, like, of course you're happy, right? One big thought and feeling I had was, see, it's not as bad as I thought. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? I'm making a big deal out of his episodes or his bad behavior. I'm probably the reason why he acts this way. It's not as bad as I thought. Do you see how those like three big thoughts combined with big feelings can really bring on that attachment, can really create that hope? It's massive, guys. It's so massive. All right, let's move on to like, what is a trauma bond? Oh, I know you probably, it's a very social worky word, trauma bond, but I kind of, just in a nutshell, I'm going to define it for you because I don't want to make this a social work class because that's not why we're here. But basically, the trauma bond is the attachment you feel to the abusive person, to your abusive ex or your husband, despite the cycle of abuse that goes on within that relationship. But in a nutshell, right? Just want to keep things simple. So that trauma bond happened over time, happened within that cycle of abuse. So, like I said, of course, you're going to feel like you miss this person because you have the attachment, okay? Alrighty. Let's bring up manipulation. Sorry, guys, I have a toddler and sometimes don't sleep. Manipulation and control create these bonds. So, an abusive person deliberately um, wants to influence your thoughts, your actions, your feelings in order to have that control over you, right? So a lot of things, like a really big manipulation tactic is gaslighting. In short, gaslighting is basically making you doubt yourself and your reality and your own, like, that sixth sense, your own common sense, your own gut feelings. So if you let's say your abusive husband said something to you that really hurt your feelings, and 2 days later you brought it up and you're like, hey, when you said that I was blank blank, that really hurt my feelings. He turns around, doesn't take responsibility, and says, I never called you that. You must be really tired because I would never call you that. And you're like, oh, yeah, maybe I misheard you. You're right. Yeah, no, sorry. And because he's done this so many times, you're used to doubting yourself. Okay? And then you start to believe lies instead of the truth. And then you don't even know what the truth is anymore. Okay? So in brief, gaslighting is a big one. Isolation is a manipulation tactic. If you have your family and friends not close to you, who is in your life then to hold you accountable, your husband accountable, your to question things in your life, like, hey, I heard him call you that. Like, are you okay with that? If no one's around to question that, then you're just in your own head all the time. Isolation works. Isolation works totally. Love bombing, like I mentioned earlier. This is when all the good things come at you and you're happy, you're elated, you're hopeful. Okay? And those, like, it's part of the grooming too, right? Over time, somebody wants control over you, over somebody. They're not just going to come in day one and just like bombard you with everything. They're going to give you bits and pieces here. Sometimes there's going to be maybe a big incident somewhere where, like, hey, I bought you this ticket to Hawaii. You want to come? Like, sometimes those big things do happen, but over time, all these things work together to create the hope, to create the attachment. Okay. All right. So I hope you can see how the gaslighting, love bombing, the isolation, all the other manipulation tactics work together to collide with that attachment that you've had earlier during the honeymoon phase, right? It causes that confusion. It's the abusive part. So as things progress, um, you start to believe the negative messaging that the abusive person sends your way. So those are things like that those thoughts that turn into beliefs. Like for me, it was, okay, this person is hurting me, treating me this way. I must deserve it. I've done stuff. I must be doing stuff every day to be treated this bad. Or else, why would this person do this? Super nice guy, charismatic, gives me gifts, takes me out. We go on holidays, all the things. Wow, I must really suck. Man, I got to get it together. So once you start to believe maybe that you're the reason you're bad, um, you also start to believe that you can't survive without them. That's one of the main reasons why women stay and come back too. So these all work together to create that trauma bond and also work together to give you reasons to miss the person, even though you've left, even though they were harmful to you. So I see in my mind, because like I said, I'm visual, I see in my mind almost like a web of those thoughts, right? This person grooms you in a way, manipulates you, controls you, you start to believe, I need him, right? I need this person. I love this person. Often we can compartmentalize the bad things. I'm going to put the abusive bad things in this one box because I love the good times. They're great. Obviously, he's that person. He's not this crappy stuff over here. He's this good stuff over here. I need him. I love the good times. Plus, I deserve the bad things that happen to me because I'm a bad wife. That was a big one for me. I wasn't taught how to be a good wife. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I must suck at it. So I deserve this. And when I get my crap together, he's going to stop. You see that like belief pattern and how that's formed over time? That's scary, but that's exactly what happens. Okay? So I hope that you feel a little bit more like less anxious or less shameful or bad on yourself if you feel like you miss your abusive partner, because you know what? Like I said before, those anything that we're attached to or that gives us good feelings, vibes, and memories, we are gonna miss, whether that's a pet, whether that's a person, an object, right? From a nostalgia from our childhood. There's an attachment to these things. You are gonna miss where there's attachment, you're gonna miss something or someone. All right. Um yeah, I just want to make sure I didn't leave out anything I want you guys to know. Oh, I did, like I said, I'm just going to reiterate. Good times equals a reason to miss someone, right? Even if the good times is strictly love bombing and that person has ulterior motives. You are not weird, it's normal, even if it's unhealthy. And the reason I'm really hoping that you can understand this part one is when you leave, or if you've left, right? You want to stay away. You don't want to go back to the crap, right? You don't want to go back to what's hurt you. So when those feelings of I miss him, I miss those good times, I need him. I can't rebuild my life. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at figuring things out. First of all, stop, acknowledge, I do miss him. It's okay. I'm not bad. I miss him. I miss the good times. He's the father of my children, whatever it is. Yep. Doesn't mean you're going to miss him forever. It is hard to rebuild, but you can do it. I'm almost 10 years free. I rebuilt my life. I have a lovely husband now. I have a son. You can do it. In order to stay free, you're going to have to tackle these things in your mind and in your heart. And even almost 10 years later, for me, I still have moments where I'm just like, trigger, or the beliefs, the renewing your mind, reclaiming your identity in Christ is what keeps me sane some days, but also it helped me heal completely. So I want to leave you guys with, well, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be making these videos ongoing. I also have currently a digital printable planner journal for women who have left and they want to repair your relationship with God. I'm going to leave that link in the description. I'm working on getting the physical copies made. So I just want to emphasize that in order to break some of these trauma bonds and renew your beliefs, in order for finally those feelings of I miss him, I'm a bad person, I don't know what I'm doing, those things will go away, but you have to replace them with other things, other beliefs, other mindsets, asking asking God to heal those yucky places that he needs to heal. Okay, so I'll leave some links in the bottom, how to connect with me. Also, if you'd like to purchase or just check out the resource that I've made, other ones will be coming. But this one's near and dear to my heart right now. So thank you guys. I hope you learned a lot. Care about you. Stick around. Part two coming up in a few in a few weeks. And I just pray that you continue to heal and repair and rebuild yourself just like Jesus intends you to live. Okay? Take care.